Okay, here we are at chapter 39 at the Marvin the Moose exercise. Now, unfortunately, when I was trying to do this in class, I pulled in the wrong model, and that was kind of a little bit of a fiasco anyway. It just kind of like threw me off. So I went ahead and pulled in the right model, I hope, and this is the one that's not frozen, not x-rayed, not anything other than just the model. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a cat rig around it, and then we're going to modify it to kind of fit the respective model. Okay, so let's go ahead and first things first, let's go ahead and freeze the model. Or yeah, let's go ahead and before I do that, you know what, I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to hit Alt X for X-ray mode. Okay, and then I'm going to select them, and then I'm going to freeze them. Freeze the selection. Okay, so we can kind of see through them, and then but we can't affect the mesh geometry. So next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and build a cat rig, and I go ahead and create helper objects here, cat, and we're going to build this from scratch. So I'm going to use the parent. Let me Alt W to get to the top view, and I'll get to this right here. I want to create one. Let's see, I want to just zoom in a little bit, and I want to create the parent right here, and the author asks us to build the controller just a little bit larger than his feet. So I'm just going to go ahead and scoot this over. Yeah, that's good enough for me. Okay, so now I want to go and I want to create a pelvis. So go into the modify window here, create pelvis, and there's a pelvis that's created right in his midsection. So what I want to do is I want to zoom in there. Oops, wrong window. Okay, and I'm going to just kind of like position this so that the majority of the little box will fit his mesh better than what the raw little pelvis might. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and scale this sideways as well. Now I know that in class we were having a little trouble with having some of our limbs look like they're suffering from elephantitis, and I'm not quite sure if that was because of the way we scaled the rig down here or whether the pelvis, but you know, I've been guaranteed that it shouldn't do that once you stick the legs in here. But I told him, I said, you know, I told my friend, I said, you know, it's happening, and I said, and I'm not quite sure why we're getting the limbs, you know, just exponentiating the size by scaling them. Let me go ahead and stop this video right now, and I'll catch up. Okay, now I'm here at the right side. Now I want to go ahead and select the leg, but I need to I think he was on rotating on me. Okay, let me take a look at the hip where the leg joint is here. Now if I wanted to lengthen it out, I can scale it, I'm talking about the leg, or I can come back in here into the modify panel after selecting the leg and use these buttons here to increase the length. Okay, so let me just for this time being shorten this, and I'm going to lengthen right there, and let me select the next leg, and I'm going to go ahead and shorten it a little bit, and I want to keep the pivot right here kind of over by the knee. So that's kind of a strategy that I want to employ. I want to keep also the ankle right here kind of in the same area as that ankle. Okay, so I want the pivot right there. Now I have a decision to make, so maybe I'll just go ahead and select this bone here and lengthen it out. And what I'm trying to do is think ahead on how the bones are going to react once I start to animate. Okay, so I'll put this back down there, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate this out. Keep the foot as flat as I can. And I'm going to scoot this over that way. And I kind of screwed up my knee there. And I'm going to scoot this up. May have to lengthen that out a little bit more. Okay. There we go. And I will rotate it. And not exactly what I wanted, but you know, I'm just going to have to keep on working with it here. So let me see what the knee's doing. Knee's not exactly where I want it. Maybe so. It's close enough. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of a push forward there. Go back to the right. Unfortunately, there's not a quick key there. I need to probably build one. Okay, now author also asks us to lengthen the foot so that it's about the approximate size of the foot. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just kick it up a notch here. Again, remember Marvin here has got a big foot. Okay, now back to the front here. Let's go select that one. And just kind of scoot this in here. And what I'm going to do is widen that out. Okay, and I can also widen his leg out as well. Oops, maybe get it here. And just to kind of match up what's going on. Okay. Turn that grid off there. Not totally happy yet, but I'm getting there. Okay, maybe make the pelvis. Actually, I think the pelvis is a little. No, it's about right. So once I'm happy with the leg here, if I wanted it, if this is what I wanted, I'm going to widen that out a little bit as well. If I wanted to keep this, all I needed to do now to make it to give me the right leg, I would then need to just copy that over. And the way I would copy that over is I would just come to the modify menu and over select the hip again, and then I would add a leg, and boom, it puts one in over the other side, and lo and behold, it's the same size as the leg that I had before. Okay, now I could have done a little better job of tweaking this foot, probably rotating it just a little bit there and scooting it back. Whoops, select the wrong thing. It's really easy to select the wrong thing here. Scoot it in there. Same thing with this one right there. Okay, now yeah, I'm sure I could have fit this a lot better, but let me go ahead and okay. So now what I want to do is select the spine. Select the hip and create the spine. Okay, here I may have too many joints for the spine. I don't want to make the spine too small, so I'm just going to maybe cut down on the joints. So I'm going to go ahead and select the spine, and let's see. Looking for how many, there we go. I'm going to cut this back down to 4. And I'm going to drop the length to about right there. Right about where his chest is. Oops, there we go. Okay. Grab the chest area there, and I'm going to maybe just get it to fit the mesh a little bit better. Right there. Kind of like spin that over. I think I'm still a little low, but we're okay. Let me lift that up a little bit. Okay. Now, do you remember my techniques or that I showed you in the previous video of how to modify the alien head? Remember, we went ahead and added the eyeballs. You can kind of use the same mesh modifying techniques here by either using graphite or just by pulling and pushing vertices to better shape this this chest area here. And depending on your model, you may want to do that on your particular model. So like with Marvin here, what I might do is just split a seam right here down the middle and then just pinch these in. But for this tutorial, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so with these chests selected, I'm going to go ahead and add another spine, and this is going to double as his head. Okay, so here I'm only going to use 2 spines, or 2 bones I should say, and I'm going to really cut that back height-wise. Okay, let's see where I'm at. So I think I still have to come down some more. Okay. You know, I won't know until I actually start to skin the mesh onto the bone. But what I'm going to try to do is fit the head here closer to the mesh of the head. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and then I'll come back. Okay, I've been kind of shaping him around here, trying to get him to fit his mesh better. You know, I don't know if this is all going to work, but it's kind of one of those things where you don't know, and you want to basically, when I skin the moose, whether that's going to work or not. It's kind of a little hokey, but I don't know. Like I said, you won't know. So, but one thing I did want to cover is if you notice how a person's forearm works. Let me zoom to the selected. How a person's forearm works. Notice that when the person rotates the hand, it takes into account the radius and the ulna. And when you rotate the wrist, the bone as it connects to the elbow doesn't completely rotate the same degree as the wrist does. So in order to emulate that, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and introduce some segments into this forearm bone here. And so we're just going to type 3 in, and bam, we have 3 segments. So let me show you what happens when we, well, I just made myself into a liar there. What should happen is, let me go ahead and add a controller right here on the end. Let's see if the controller shows up. No, it didn't. Okay. What is supposed to happen is as I rotate this external arm here, or this external bone, it's supposed to prorate these bones right here. Okay, so I don't know if I would have used custom mesh I don't think that would have mattered, but excuse me. I'll figure that out, and I'll let you know what happens in the next video here. So for the time being, let me end this portion of the video, and I'm going to go ahead and mirror the arm once I get a better look of this moose. Okay, when I last left you, something happened and the computer crashed, or not the computer, but the program crashed. So unfortunately, I was left to revert back to the Marvin Moose final that's on the CD. That's okay, because what I wanted to show you next was I wanted to just go ahead and show you that once I finish with the arm, setting up the arm with all its fingers and stuff, all I need to do then is go back and maybe I should, there we go, choose the chest, and then all I need to do is add an arm, and the same modifications that I chose to this arm are duplicated to the other one, just similar to what the legs did. I kind of want to take a look at how the author rigged the feet and how he rigged the hips. So if you take a look at the hips, he pretty much brought the leg up and then he split the hip, and then he was able to get his feet all the way down. Actually, they protrude through the horizontal plane, but that's okay. I think he's concerned about the pivot points as well. Alrighty, so now let's just call Marvin Moose good there, and we'll just go ahead and move on to the next tutorial, which is animation with Cat.